Hey guys, good evening, everyone. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur, and you are tuned into Inspirations for Your Life. I'm so happy that you are here with me tonight, which is Saturday, January 20th, 2024. It's a Saturday, so you know what that means. It means we're starting off with a brand new master topic to kick off the week. Whether you're here at 7:40 at night, 7:40 in the morning, 3 a.m., 3 p.m., 12 noon, 12 a.m. Makes a difference. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it very, very much. And to tell you a little about me, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, and I am a podcast host, and I am a podcast coach and a specialist in helping businesses tell a story that leads to them growing and being more scalable and, of course, more profitable. Now, I typically do work with companies that bring in 10 million or more, and either they know the story or they want me to find out what their story is, and I always do that from the core of their truth. All right, guys, let's get started. We have a great week planned here. So our topic for the week, the master topic for the week, is finding our way to becoming a leader. That's our master topic for the week. Our show topic is unveiling leadership. Are you born or made? Okay. So what we're really talking about, is that something that's born or something that's made? And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So first thing I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, is that leaders are not born. They are made. Yes. Leaders, let me say this again. Leaders are made, not born. And, the thing is, a lot of people think that, you're just going to one day just show up and you're a leader. You have to go through the trials and the tribulations, and you have to understand what it means to be a leader. And we're going to be talking about all this this week. There's so much that goes into it. But today I really just want to give you the cursory overview of what we're talking about, because there's a lot we're going to dive into this week. So first question I want to ask you guys is, what is a leader? Well, a leader is someone who guides, right? Someone who leads. They inspire other people. They have a creative way of planting passion in the people that they're mentoring, so that they'll follow and want to be part of it. A leader is someone that has a vision and a path and realizes it. A leader is someone who ensures their team has support and the tools to achieve the promises that they set forth for themselves and the team puts forward. A leader may be a lot of different things. They have to be aligned with core values. They have to reach their team promises, okay? And they have to be independently accountable because of their passion. So a leader coaches, they guide, and they inspire. That makes a lot of sense, right? So they do it with purpose, motivation. They have a vision. They have empathy. We've talked about empathy many times before. Creativity. They have a team vision, and they always try to improve. So leadership sometimes gets challenged with management. So management is a way of taking the wind out of your sails and really not caring whether you're growing or becoming a better version of yourself. It's just about what the high-level management wants. And that's the worst way to run an organization, because when you're dictating, there's only going to be a limited amount of time before that pay, before that attitude is going to be like, you know what? I'm history. I don't want anything to do with this. I know. And I do want to share with you guys, very excited, because tonight, January 20th, and now every single Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern, I am launching my brand new show, which is John C. Morley, Behind the Mic. If you're wondering what that show's about, well, I talk about all kinds of great things, but I talk about them raw, from the core. Sometimes you're going to learn something that you're going to be happy about. Other times, you might cry. But one thing is it's going to be an amazing journey every single time that you come along and listen to the show. All right. So thinking about leaders. So now we know a little more about a leader and stuff like that. So as I said to you, are leaders born or are they made? This was the question. Are leaders born or made? And the great leaders are made. Okay. There have been many experts that have talked about this, many authors. And I think the reason that leaders are made is because they have to first make mistakes. They have to learn, the direction that they're going in. And if they don't learn, then how are they ever going to become better? How are they going to know which way to go? I mean, before you could teach somebody something, you have to figure out what it is yourself that you're doing. And if you can't figure that out, then how the heck do you get anywhere? Like how? That's really the truth, right? You have to understand that. And if you don't, then I feel that you're going to be lost. And if you don't know where you're going, how are you going to align or help anybody on the path? You ever hear the phrase, the blind leading the blind? Now, I don't mean this to be disrespectful. It's not about discrimination or anything like that, or about disabilities, nothing like that. Okay. There was a verse in the Bible by 15:14 of Matthew. Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. All right. So what it basically means is if you don't know where the heck you're going, how can you ever expect to lead anybody else? Let's think about this another way. If we're outside and let's say we walk into a building, there's plenty of light. And let's say all the lights go out in that building. But I happen to have a light. If I turn my light on, other people are going to follow my lead because I'm lighting the way. Leadership is just that. It's using our qualities, it's using our traits to actually lead the way. But sometimes leadership becomes more of a challenge because it becomes about an ego. And so great leaders know that they can always learn from themselves and they can learn from others. And leaders that don't want to learn will be destined for failure. And they will take the entire ship or team down with them. So I'm going to refer back to this verse here in the Bible here. It's an idiom. And again, the quote is the blind leading the blind. It comes from Jesus' teaching in Matthew 15:14. Leave them, and they are blind guides. If the blind lead the blind, both will fail and fall into a pit. So as Jesus traveled around, helping people in Galilee, he attracted lots of different crowds, right? Lots of different crowds. And so if we understand that, then I think this makes a little more sense. And how does it make sense? Well, it makes sense because now we understand what's going on. He attracted crowds from places far and near, including Jerusalem. And the Gospel of Matthew depicts a scene in which the Pharisees and the scribes traveled from Jerusalem to actually confront Jesus. And the religious leaders were the representatives of Judaism in that day. They were entrusted with studying the scriptures and guiding God's people in the way of the Lord. So without a doubt, the Jewish leaders were receiving reports of miracles and unconventional activities surrounding Jesus' ministry, and they became alarmed that there are many regulations, laws, and age-old traditions and the elders were not being kept. So they had come to the question why Jesus' disciples were breaking the traditions of ceremonial hand washing before meals. According to the procedures, they were human-made regulations and not part of God's word. So Jesus and his disciples were behaving in a way that made them ritually unclean. And so, leading up to the description of the religious as blind leaders of the blind, Jesus had pointed out to the Pharisees that they had broken God's commandments. And he established their hypocrisy of regularly breaking the laws of God while demanding that others follow their human-made traditions. So in Matthew 15:10-14, Jesus returns to their question about hand washing. Instead of addressing the Pharisees and scribes directly, he shared a parable with the crowd, saying that the teaching appended the Pharisees' tradition, revealing that it's not what is outside of a person that causes defilement. What makes a person unclean, Jesus taught, originates from inside the individual. What goes into someone's mouth does not defile them, but what comes out of their mouth, that is what defiles them. So he's talking about not what you're eating, even though we always say you are what you eat. He was talking about the fact that what you say, what you embody is what could break that covenant with him, not the food, even though eating bad food is not good for you and you shouldn't do that. And so Christ was actually disputing the idea that people can become unacceptable before God only how it happens. And hand washing can't make a person clean if his or her heart has got tarnishes in it. So I think what they're trying to say is that woe to you, blind guides, and know that the real truth is you inside. Let me give you an example. You all remember there was a story, and I know I'm getting religious tonight. I usually don't do that. People in glass houses don't throw stones. I think it goes something like this. Those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, something like that. So it's very common and a very popular proverb that's been used for centuries. And basically it refers to those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. What does it mean? Well, those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. What does it really mean, though? It's a way of helping us understand that someone should not be hypocritical. Okay? It suggests that if you throw stones at someone's house, you're very likely going to have someone do the same to you. Because we all live in glass houses. This is the point and the vulnerability. Those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, but we all live in glass houses. It dates back to the 1300s, in case you're wondering. So one might use this when they want to, let's say, remind a friend or relative that what they're doing may come back around to bite them. For example, it could even be done with landlords or business deals. You can say, those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. And so those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. And somebody might say, hey, you know what they say about stones and glass houses, right? So a lot of people might try to skirt around the side of this. It's a very vivid depiction, because if you picture yourself living in a glass house, okay, and let's say your neighbor, your friend lives in a glass house, and you throw a stone or a rock at their house, it's going to break the glass in their house. And they're probably going to retaliate and throw a stone or rock back at you. You remember the phrase, do unto others as you want done unto you? I think that's very powerful. It started around the 1300s. So what we're really trying to get people to understand is that what happens or what we see might be something because we actually want to do something because of the way we feel, but that gut reaction that we might just do is not going to be the best thing because it's going to cause it to come back in our face. I once said this to someone, that I'm not going to do anything to you, but I just want to let you know the way you treat me, karma will come back and take care of those that deliver karma. So I was saying to them, hey, be careful how you treat others because karma may come back to bite you. And they were getting all huffy and puffy with me, trying to get legal. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything to you. I'm just letting you know that the world will even the scores, and karma does. And they got all uptight because they knew they were wrong. But they were trying to challenge it like I was going to do something to them. I wasn't doing anything to them. But I was just letting them know that don't be surprised someday if something bites you in the back. Pretty cool. So I want to talk about something else tonight, and that's organizations that start building leadership at an early age. So what are organizations that build leadership in kids? What are some of these organizations? So they're youth organizations, right? You might know them like 4-H is one of them. Obviously, I was an Eagle Scout, so scouting. Brownies, right? Girl Scouts. So we've got the Boy Scouts. We've got the 4-H group. We've got the Congressional Award Services, right? We've got the Civil Air Patrol. We've got Police Explorers. We've got sports teams. We've got school-based clubs like math clubs, chemistry clubs, foreign language clubs, school newspaper yearbook clubs, sports teams, drama clubs, and even choral clubs, and more. Kiwanis, Lions, Conquest Boys Club for Catholic youth, mission trips, other youth groups, Future Business Leaders of America, Future Farmers of America, Junior Achievement, National Honor Society, National Junior Horticulture Association, Toastmasters, and the YMCA. Empty Nest Opportunities. So these are just some, but I think the most important thing is that when you're getting started in school to become affiliated with one of these groups because they're only going to start to instill good stuff in you. So you never can start too early. And I think the earlier you start, the quicker you start to realize that I want to be a good person, that I want to do good for the world. But you see, you can't tell somebody to be good. You have to show them by example. Therefore, people in glass houses don't throw stones. I could tell you all day long that you need to be great. You need to be nice. But you're not going to be nice. You're not going to be great. You know why? Because you need to make that realization. You need to understand that when you're not nice, other people are not going to be nice to you. The golden rule. Love others, treat others the way you want to be treated. Right? Do unto others as the way you want to be treated. And so when we understand this and we know that, hey, it doesn't feel so good to be treated like that, we start realizing, well, maybe I should change my attitude. Maybe I should change the way I act in life. I love talking about leadership, and we talk about it a lot. But this week, we're going to be talking about, leadership and the fact of finding our way. Because sometimes leaders, they go down this pathway, but then they sometimes take a wrong turn because ego or superficial rewards get in the way, and the leadership that they're learning gets diluted by materialistic goals, ego goals, power trips. That's important. Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. You know, it's been an amazing privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you this fantastic evening. Before I do go, I want to let you know that, yes, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, and I'm a podcast host and a podcast coach. And yes, a specialist in helping businesses tell a story that leads to them growing and being more scalable and, of course, more profitable. Now, I typically do work with companies that bring in 10 million or more. They either know the story or they're passionate about finding their story, but they understand that the most important thing about the story is finding out the truth, the core of what it is, not something they want it to be. That's important. All right, guys, have yourself a fantastic evening, and I'm going to catch you tomorrow. All right, be well, everyone. Take care.